What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks, all right? Let's get straight right into it. Bruh, man, I just want to take some time to, talk about the Nets, and I know media's going, it's going crazy and everything. Oh my God, look at their trash defense. They're trash. This, they're trash that, all of that, whatever they say. Best offense, but worst defense of all time. All of this type of stuff. And I'm going to say that is fucking cap. I'm about to debunk a lot of these narratives that they're saying. So you already know the other day or last night, they obviously faced the Wizards, and it was, a great game. Up tempo, a lot of scoring, which has been always the Nets games, right? Really fast pace. And so they're doing, astronomical numbers in terms of their offense, but then their defense, they're not getting stops all the time. Now, people are saying their defense is bad because they just go to the overall, they scored 120 something points, or they left 140, whatever the case is. Not taking in that the Nets do get stops when it matters. This last time, what they did sus is that the turnover at the end, like Bill just came up and pulled up three or whatever. Like that's not something, oh my God, yeah, bad defense, because he just came and pulled up and scored a three, like as if Bill's not that guy. But they had a turnover at the end, at the back, at the worst time, and then that changed everything. And that's what mainly changed everything. Don't let media cap to you, oh my God, they have bad defense, they can't stop nobody, whatever the case is. Yes, at times they have bad defense. Yes, at times they're struggling with defense. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that it's individual straight defense. A lot of the times it's team defense. Sometimes it's individual defense. But even then, you got to look at it from this perspective. This is what I'm going to explain to y'all about all of that. But anyways, before I do that, basically, right, the whole Nets and that happened, or the Nets and the Wizards that happened. But I'm going to go into that context because I give it that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. So basically, if you look at it, throughout the game, and just in general with this, since the Nets have done this trade and whatever, they've had stops at the right times. That's what it's about. They've had stops. Their defense hasn't been as bad as people think. Because people are looking at the points per game, yes, because of the points per game that they're allowing, they're going to look like they've had terrible defense. But if you actually pay attention to the game and you actually know the game and you don't just follow media narratives because media wants to break this team down, obviously, if you just actually pay attention to basketball and actually look what's transpiring and know context, and they show you some stats, but they won't show you all the stats, right? If you actually just understand everything in general, in the grand scheme of everything, you'll understand that the Nets have had bad defense at times, and a lot of it is attributed to the fact that they're in a fast-paced type of offense. When you're scoring, they literally come down and score within 5 seconds sometimes. Like they're just up-tempo with elite ball movement, like their offense. Let's just focus on the offense before I talk about their defense. So if you look at their offense, right? Their offense right now, the Nets are what? They shoot the best field goal percentage in the whole league. They shoot 50% from the field as a team. You know what I'm saying? That's number one in the whole league, okay? They score the most points in the league with 122 points. That's number one again in the whole league, all right? They shoot second best from 3-point. Right now, it's the Clippers at 42%. They shoot 40% from the three, which is number two in the whole league. All right. Their free throws, they're top three in free throws. What are they right now? I think the Clippers are number one, and they are, my fault. They are number three right now from the 3-point line, from free throw line. That's 82%. Right. So their offense right now is so potent. You get what I'm saying? Their offense, the same thing. This is what I'm talking about, media narratives. The media is the same people that said these three ball dominant guys are not going to work. What are they going to do? Oh my God, they have only one ball. How are they going to? And then now you don't see them talking about that at all. They don't talk about that at all. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are the fourth. They lead the league, number 4 in assists in the whole league. They average 27.1 assists. The Denver Nuggets, who you think Jokic passing, are only 27.2 assists. 0.1 assists higher than the Brooklyn Nets. They have more assists than even the Warriors, who just move the ball. And y'all try to act like that's what I'm saying. That already in itself, that already is complete contrast to what they were saying. The media was saying these guys are ball dominant guys. They can't do X, Y, and Z. It's only one ball. It's not going to work. Kyrie's going to be mad. James Harden's going to be mad. KD can maybe play with it. Well, there's one ball, even KD, like they're all ball dominant usage rate. And they have 27 assists as a team. Number 4 in the whole entire league, the association, the NBA. That right there shows you media saying this, but reality is this. That's where it's showing you media caps. They don't know what they're talking about. So now, if they could cap about that, or you think they're not going to cap about other things? Yes, they will. And that's why I'm here to debunk that. But that right there just shows you the contrast in the media and reality. Media and reality. So that's why when media says something, don't just believe it. Go actually investigate. Go find out what's going on. Watch the games with the eye test and then look at the stats as well too. And then you'll see that there is a deficiency in the stats and the eye test and what they're saying. And 3 things. Two of them sometimes combine. 2 of them sometimes don't. All of them are 3 different things. But right now I'm going to show you what they're saying is only correct to a certain extent. They make it seem like they have the worst defense of all time. That's cap. And the reason why it's cap is because I'm trying to tell you, look at their offensive stats I showed you. When you score that much and you score at that high rate in a league where offense is so supreme right now, it is all-time high. And before I even finish my point, just to show you how the league is so supreme right now, just take this in, okay? Right now, in a league in 2021 season, 2021 season, the lowest scoring team right now is the New York Knicks, and they still score 102 points per game. Just take that in. 102 points per game is the lowest scoring team in the association. There's not one team in the 90s, not one team. So do you really think? Just take that information in. So even the teams that they talking about, they're the best defensive team, allow over 100 points. So a team that now is scoring the best at 122 points, and in order to score 122 points, I mean, you have to be hella up tempo. Don't you think they're going to allow way more points even with good defense? They're going to naturally allow more points because it's high tempo. To beat the Nets, you have to match their tempo. Even if you don't mean to, when the team is so quick, you're naturally going to follow that. It's the same thing with Golden State. When you shoot threes, rarely do you see a team just go post up and play slow. You're naturally going to follow the tempo that they play. That's why you end up going small ball. You end up doing this. And they change the whole league. You don't try and do contrast. Doesn't naturally work. Maybe in situations, you might go, okay, take a mismatch right here. But throughout the whole pace of the game, the pace is already high. One team can dictate how the game goes. So when you look at it, you're naturally going to allow more points per game just from you scoring OD. Now let's go check it out. All right. So now let's go look right now. Look at this. The last time a team has averaged, there's been teams with lower than 100 points per game, was the 2018 regular season, where they had 2017-2018, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings were the 2 worst offensive scoring teams. They had 99 and 98. And then the last time there was multiple was in 2015-2016 regular season, where it was Memphis, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, New York, Utah, Philadelphia, and Lakers. They all had between 99 and 97 points per game. And that's how many teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7 teams under 100. So just taking how drastically the league has changed. You went from 7 teams not scoring that well, not shooting that well. You know what I'm saying? Not scoring at a high potent offense. They're bad offensively. Yet 7 teams under 100. That was, 5 years ago? The league has changed drastically. Now, you look at it this season, you have only not one team. The lowest team is even 102. You're not even at 100. You're 102. You're plus 2, then 100. The worst team, which is the Knicks, in terms of scoring. So what does that tell you? If the whole team and the whole NBA has gotten better offensively. So even when you contest shots, it's still splash. You know what I'm saying? It looks, when you just read the stats, oh my God, you let 120 points. Like, that's out of context. If I'm scoring 140 and I'm snapping, the other team is naturally, especially because you got to understand, without the Brooklyn Nets pace and space, the worst team already scores 102. Okay? The worst team already scores 102 without the Brooklyn Nets fast tempo. Just them playing on their own tempo, they already score 102. The worst. That's the worst. So Bear teams are 110, right? Even the Raptors 111. Bear teams. The Lakers are 112 and they're the 14th, 15th team. So you have the best at 122 and halfway, 15 is 111. So halfway is 111. So on average, so that would mean the average amount of points per game you're going to get on every given out is 111. So if I'm scoring 122, if you're scoring that, or the average team is scoring 111 on every game, on an every game basis, a team you can expect them to score 111, which means some are going to be under, some are going to be more. But on average, it's 111. That's the middle ground. That's the middle. That's the median. Is 111. Now, if you're now that 111 team is now playing a team who's already pace and space is high, they score 112 on an average or 122 on an average. Don't you think that 111 is going to rise because now they're going to get more opportunities, more field possessions? Everything's going to increase because of the Nets offense. It's fast. So now you're going to match them. So now you're getting fast. You're going to get more opportunities, more buckets. It's not like teams are trash. Teams can score already. The weakest team scores 102. So you're naturally going to get scored on more. So this whole media trying to make it seem like every possession, they can't guard nobody. They can't guard a parked car on every possession. That's fucking cap. That's not true. Don't let media lie to you. And to prove my point, I'm going to prove my point. Just take this in. It doesn't mean just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Brooklyn Nets are the most elite defensive team. What I'm trying to debunk is the fact that media is making it seem like they're the worst defensive team because they allow so many points per game. When the allowing of points per game is going to rise due to the pace and space of their potent offense. The fast tempo pace that they play with, the other team's going to inbound quick and they're going to get natural more possessions. They're going to get natural more things when they already can score good. In this league, you have the worst team scoring 102. The middle pack of the ground is 111. So if I score 102 and you did your exact same, it's 111. But no, or 112. If I score 112 as the Nets, as the best offense in the league, you're already, before you even play me, you score 111, it's going to rise. Because you're getting more opportunities. You're going to score more than 111, regardless if it's me or not. Just from the pace of space. The pace and the space and all of that type of stuff of this whole new league. So look with it. Now, when you break it down, because if you go look at it, individually, they have times where they strap up. That's why a lot of the times they win, when it's close, they just get to stop right at the right time and it's good. The only difference with this Wizards loss is that they made a turnover or Bradley Beal scored a 3, which can happen. You know, when it's that you're up by 6 or whatever the case is, up by 5 is the end of the game, and then you just come down, score 3. It's like Lillard scored a 3. Shit. You know, you just can't. And it wasn't even like a Lillard 3 where it's hella deep and they gave him bare room. He actually was pretty contested and he just came up and pulled a 3 quick. That happens all the time near the end of the games. A man comes in, shoots a 3, and then now it's quick inbound. But what happens? The team secures the ball, they inbound, free throws. Free throws. And you play that chase game, and then the team ends up controlling the game, and they still win. But what happened was now it was a rare situation where KD was fake, went out and went to the right, and then Joe Harris passed it right to the defender. And then what happens? Kick out, Westbrook open 3, splash, and now they took the lead. Are you going to tell me, oh my God, bad defense? Like, that's literally a turnover issue. That's not bad defense or what's wrong with them. Their defense is trash. That's just a turnover issue. This is why they've won games even with scoring high and when both teams are scoring high. It doesn't mean they can't guard nobody. Their pace and space is so potent that they're gonna create so many the team's gonna have so many opportunities. And I'm just gonna show you that what media is capping them. There's so many myths they're talking about with this Nets team just because they don't want them to succeed, obviously, that now they're gonna throw a lot of cap out there and a lot of lies and a lot of fraudulent kind of cases and kind of narratives. They're gonna throw it out there and it's all gonna be debunked right now. And I'm showing you. And it's not me being biased. It's me having IQ that at the end of the day, like I said, I am saying the Nets don't have the greatest defense. I never said that they do. I never said they don't lock up. That's bad. No, I said they lock up when it's time. They lock up when it's time, which is what championship teams do anyways. They lock up when it's time. And the pace and the space and everything's going to decrease drastically in the playoffs. And you add pressure, all of that. So that's even a different story. But anyways, like I said, they have good defense at moments. But their defense overall is not the greatest. And that's the same case with the whole league. And I'm going to show y'all. Y'all think, oh my God, that's cap. I'm going to show you something. Let me just show you IQ. The whole NBA right now, everybody's scoring at a reckless rate. Look at this right now. They say that the Lakers have great defense, right? The Lakers are the number 1 defensive rating team right now in the NBA. So they have the best defense according to these stats, what everyone is obviously talking about. Take it in. They have the best defense, and yet, just take this in real quick. They have the best defense, and yet the Lakers still give up 104 points per game. Just take that in. Just take that in. Just take that in. Just take in the logic, okay? They have the best defense in the NBA, and they allow the second least amount of points per game, and it's still 104 points. Do you know how much 104 points is? They still allow 104 points. Just take that in, okay? That's already just broke the whole cap of, oh my God, people. The fact that you just look at the total points per game in the win column does not or in the stats or in the overall total score column does not equate to, oh, bad defense or good defense or not. It's just the whole team in the NBA, the whole NBA is scoring recklessly. Even when they contest shots, mans could do side steps. Like, the whole ability of the NBA is so potent that, and there's so much space to cover and so much ground to cover, you're not gonna guard everything. Even when you contest, mans are still hidden. Doesn't mean you're playing bad defense. Doesn't mean you're playing good defense. It just means that at the end of the day, the ability is so potent that it's actually more so focused on when do you lock up. That's more so what determines, to me, great defense or not. When do you pad? When is the defense there? How often does that padding happen? That's what I look at. And the Nets aren't the best at that, but they still pad when it matters. Obviously, the Lakers are number 1 defensive rating, so they pad more often in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. But they still, even with that great defense, they still allow 104 points per game. Not only that, just to debunk another media narrative with this whole Nets situation. Okay, they say that the Lakers, right? Like you've seen, the number 1 best defensive team in the league, right? Let's go look at something real quick. The number 1 best defensive team in the league, right? Let me see something real quick. So why right now they're the number 1 best defensive team in the league? Oh my God, no interior defense from the Nets. The Lakers have the great interior defense, but right now the Lakers average 6 blocks as a team. They're 4th. They're 4th best in the NBA as blocks, but Brooklyn is the 3rd best team in blocks in the NBA. Oh, what happened though? I thought they have the worst defense though. I thought the Nets have the worst defense of all time. I thought they have the worst defense in the NBA, but yet the number 1 rated defensive team in the NBA, which is the Lakers, have less blocks than the Nets. What does that tell you? Media just lies. They lied to you. They don't know basketball. Like I told y'all, this team, how can a team have 6 more blocks? Or have more blocks, with 0.1 obviously only, but they have more blocks than the team that has the best rated defense in the NBA. You would never think that. The worst team actually is higher on blocks than the other team. And obviously defense isn't only blocks. But you would think, the way the media portrays it, you would think that the Brooklyn Nets is ass in all defensive categories. Isn't that true? Then they say they don't have no rim protection, they need another big, and yet they're the 3rd best defensive paint protecting team, or the 3rd best in blocks. They're the 3rd best in blocks. Or how many blocks are you getting on the perimeter? How many? Blocks is more so midi, paint, whatever. So aren't they having rim protection? Doesn't that mean that they have the best rim protecting type of team, which is the AD? That's what y'all say. And like, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Even Miles Turner's on the Indiana Pacers. He has the most blocks. Rudy Gobert has the most blocks. They lead the league in blocks. Both of those guys, reckless blocks. And Indiana is 8th in team blocks. Utah is 6th in team blocks. So what is this telling you? That the media don't know shit. That's what that means. Media don't know shit. I'm going to debunk another myth. How many myths do I have to debunk, or narratives do I have to destroy with the Nets that they're trying to cap? At the end of the day, it's about IQ. That's what I do. It's about truth, everything. I'm not saying that what they're saying is completely false, but the way they portray it is fucking cap. It's bullshit. There's a hate undertone towards their narrative that they do. And I see right through that bullshit, because I watch every single minute of every Nets game. Every minute. every minute. And if I was doing something, I was editing videos OD and I fall asleep, I have league pass. I run that shit back and run it again. So it doesn't get past me. It don't get past me. Let's just take it in. Didn't they say, oh my God, the Nets, they need rebounding. The Nets, they need rebounding. The Nets need this. The Nets need that. They're rebounding. Everything is just fugazi. Like, what's wrong with them? They need to get bigs. Like, they can't. Oh my God, just getting out rebounded like this. Come look at something. Come look at something. What is this right here? Defensive rebounds, right? The Nets are third in the NBA in defensive rebounds, while the Lakers are sixth. This is defensive rebounds, not offensive rebounds. It's just defensive rebounds. Just they shoot, rebound. They say the Nets have atrocious rebounding, right? And yet they're third in defensive rebounding, the one that matters the more. Obviously, offensive rebound matters. No, I'm taking that out because they're obviously atrocious in offensive rebounds. They don't get offensive rebounds. It's high pace and space. They run back on defense. They don't go for offensive rebounds. But the fact that they don't go for offensive rebounds, they get high defensive rebounds, and yet still you would think they're trash at rebounding. That's just defensive rebounds. What are you talking about, Banks? You would think they're their ass in the whole grand scheme of rebounding because they only get one side. The offensive rebounds, they're trash. They're great in defensive rebounds. So, when you look at it, they shouldn't get that much. If you're high in offensive rebounds and high in defensive rebounds, then you're top tier. Okay, let's go look. What happened here? The Brooklyn Nets are ninth. They're one rebound behind the Lakers in rebounds out of the whole team, the whole NBA. They're ninth. Would you ever think that the Brooklyn Nets are a ninth rebounding team with the way they make it seem? They need Andre Drummond. They need McGee. They need rebounding. And they're ninth. They're one rebound behind the Lakers that can have Trez, Gasol, AD, all of these mans. They're one rebound, 0.5 rebounds behind Embiid, who's getting bare rebounds, Simmons and all. They're 0.5. And why is that? It's not that they just get buried. It's because they have pace and space. There's so many possessions that they're running with. So when you face them, you're so high octane offense between them and between you that now I'm going to get more rebounds naturally. It actually doesn't mean, if you actually understand right here, you would understand if you actually watch the games, the Nets don't have elite rebounding, but they're in this elite category because their possessions are so high that there's so many opportunities to get rebounds. Because there's so many possessions, because they're the highest number one, offensive team and tempo team. So they're naturally going to get more rebounds. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Just like when you see this right here is comparison to the defense. Just like you see in terms of defense, they score the most, and because they score the most and they allow the most, you're going to think that, or allow, what is it? They allow. Let's see, what's opponent? My fault. Let's see, allow opponents points per game. So yeah, they're the fourth worst. They allow 117. The Wizards allow the most. They allow 117, right? Them and the Blazers are close to each other, which cheeses me. But they allow 117 points. So they allow the fourth worst points per game, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, like I said, when you look at it, oh my God, they have terrible defense, whatever. When you just look at that, right? And even their defensive rating, I think they're even mediocre. Their defensive rating, they're saying they're bottom. They're 25th. They're bottom of the league. And the reason why those defensive rating and the points per game looks terrible, like they have no defense, is because when you have multiple possessions, when you have fast-paced number one offense, fast, high-tempo pace number one offense, you're going to naturally give up more buckets because you're so fast-paced. The other team is trying to match you. They're so fast-paced. So it's harder to contest every shot when it's so 7 second screen quick. Everything is so quick offense. So naturally, already when teams can score, it's not slow tempo. There's less. They're not shooting in the back end of the shot clock bare times where you're naturally going to miss, where it looks like it might be good defense when it's not like it's good defense. They just were running. They're just slow tempoed right now. So now, obviously, to the naked eye, oh my God, these stats are saying they have the worst defense. Right? But yet, the stats are saying they're a top-tier rebounding team. But it's the same thing. It's manipulated. They're not a top-tier rebounding team. The stats tell you that. But the context is they're getting way more rebounds because, again, up-tempo, more shots from both teams. Just more means more rebounds. So you're gonna get more rebounds just off of that alone. So now you're pump faking the top tier team in rebounding when it's cap. You're not a top tier team in rebounding. Shouldn't that tell you the same thing with the defense? Why can they apply the context to the rebounding, but they can't apply the context to the defense? These stats are manipulated. The eye test will tell you that their defense isn't hella terrible. Their defense is bad in moments, yes, but when they need a stop, they get a stop. Their turnovers, even for example, let's look, even the turnovers too. I'm just debunking all narratives. I'm just debunking all narratives. They get so many damn turnovers, and this is where the real issue is. They are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're seventh worst. Sixth worst, seventh worst, because there's multiple teams that are tied or whatever. They're seventh worst in the league in turnovers. And that's where for me, their main issue is. Their main issue is in turnovers. And that's where that can't be manipulated. Their turnovers is, for me, their number one issue. That's for me. Because I have IQ. I know that when it matters, they'll pad. I know when it matters, they'll get a block. I know when it matters, they can get a rebound too. It's not like those aren't issues. That's not what I'm saying. They are issues. Obviously, you want to fine tune everything. You want to be solid in everything. Those are issues. But their wins, a lot of the times, are actually attributed to turnovers. Just like you seen versus the Wizards. Turnovers. Their turnovers are atrocious. They'll get a rebound, get a stop, and they'll just throw it to Kyrie, and Kyrie will get it. And why would you throw it to the man when you see a man's behind him? Then he gets it, he turns, then like cookies, or it's a travel, or it's a cookie, or it's a steal. Like, that happens all. They get a rebound push. Because they're doing up-tempo offense, they get a lot of turnovers. And that leads to buckets every single time. And it's hard to defend off of a turnover. You're outnumbered. You're in a bad situation. So a lot of their buckets also is like, you get 14 turnovers per game. And if they're guaranteed giving up 28 points off turnovers every single time. I already know that's what they be doing. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it from that perspective, that to me is their number one issue. That to me is something that if they cured that, they would probably look like they even have better defense. The teams will score even less because you're scoring OD and you're not giving, they're already naturally going to get more up tempo, but then you're not giving free shit away. So they're going to cancel a whole half of, or a whole section, 20% or whatever it is of their scoring. So you're going to naturally point differential going to be even higher. You're going to probably even get more blowout wins off of that because they're going to have to score every single time. Because when you're going to pad sometimes, and sometimes they're going to miss, you're going to have to score every single time. You're not giving free shit away. You already don't have the greatest defense. You don't give free shit away too. And that to me is their biggest issue. Their biggest issue. When you look at it from that perspective. And that, like, even when you look at it, I'm surprised. They gave up 25 points off turnovers. Like, they had 17 turnovers and they gave up 25 points off of turnovers. Like, versus the Wizards last game. Like, that's atrocity. 25 points? Imagine they only gave up, like they matched Washington, who gave up 8. Imagine they gave up 8. That's a blowout. That's what? That's what, 13 points? That's a blowout. Or 7 points, my fault? Like, bro, come on now. You take away 7 points. You win comfortably. Like, that right there is a lot of the issue. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Let's, you know, at the end of the day, you already know it's True Talks, because True Talks, you already know, you feel me? Share, like, and subscribe, all of that. I just like to debunk, because a lot of people actually just give in to what the media is saying. And I know, I'm not, like I said, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying that the Nets have the greatest defense of all time and, you know, their top tier defensive team or whatever the case is. No, that's not what I'm saying. Those 6 blocks right there show you that when it matters, the fact that they're top 3 in the league in blocks, when it matters, they actually lock up. If you actually watch the games, when it matters, they lock up. And just because a shot goes in does not mean that they played bad defense. A lot of these guys like Beal, they're making step back shots. They're making tough shots. They're facing great, offense, stuff like that. And it is true, though, they do let up a lot of points. But 50% of that is sometimes it's bad defense. But another huge bulk of it is because the whole pace of the whole game is hella up tempo. because the Nets are scoring. They focus on, they score, they're doing astronomical numbers. You know what I'm saying? They're doing that. They're doing that on offense. So just take it in. The fact that they're doing reckless numbers on offense, you're naturally going to have people have their averages go up against you as well too, because there's so many opportunities, so many possessions. Like if you understand basketball, you understand exactly what I'm saying to you. There's so many possessions. Up tempo, up tempo, up tempo, up tempo. You're naturally gonna even be more tired because you're up tempo on offense. They're hella up tempo. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Let me even check one last thing. Let me even check the years Golden State was even eating. When they won a ring, they had great offense. 2017, 18. That was a year Golden State was top tier. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were the number one team on offense. Let's see what they allowed. Let's actually just check what they allowed real quick. Okay, let's check what they allowed. They had the number one offense, which was number what? They scored 113 points per game. Look at this. Golden State allowed 107. They allowed 107. Are y'all taking that in? They scored 113 points and allowed 107. So right now, if you look at it, and that was the year they won a ring, okay? 2018. Okay? Look at this. And they considered of having good defense. People didn't look at that, oh my God, their defense is ass. No, because they're pacing space, you're going to allow certain things coming up. Look at the Nets right now. The Nets right now average 122 points per game. And let's see what they allow. They allow 117 points per game. What's it called? Brooklyn was Golden State that I showed you was six differential. This one, they're what? They're 4 differential, 5 differential. So they're not too far off. It's the same shit. That's what I try to tell y'all. It's the same shit. Don't let media lie to you. When you score more, you're going to allow more. It goes hand. Don't score OD and allow the best. Allow the smallest. Like, come on now. Only one time, maybe Golden State that 1 year. What was it? What was the year? 2016? 2015, 2016? What did they allow? What did they score? Let's see. I'm just here doing context for y'all. You get what I'm saying? They scored the best in the league, 114.9. You get what I'm saying? Let's actually just go to differential. Let's go. 114.9. I think this was the year that they had the best record, right? 114.9 they scored. And let's see how much they allowed. They allowed 104. And that was the year that they had the 72, 73 and 9. And yet they scored 114 points per game and they still allowed 104. So they were bottom of the league because the Spurs allowed the least at 93 points per game. The Raptors allowed 98. They were third. They were 16th, 19th in the whole league in how much points they allow. That just shows you when you score more, you allow more. That's what that means. And these are teams that are considered great defensively in the Golden State team, I'm telling you. And yet they still were bottom of the league in how much they allow. Isn't that on par with what the Nets are doing? But y'all just find ways to bash them because y'all already know. I just debunked everything. Just pay attention. Just understand the game. Doesn't mean that they don't have the greatest defense like Golden State with Clay and Draymond. That's not what I'm saying. But even then with Clay and Draymond, all of those guys were great. Eagle, Sean Livingston, everybody. They still in 2018 had only a 6-point differential. That's exactly what the Nets are doing. When I mean differential in terms of what you score and what you allow. Their only year where it's 10-point differential was the year of was the year that 2016 when they had the record, NBA record of wins. And yet they still, if you just take the points allowed, were bottom of the league in points allowed. The bottom 10 of the league. The IQ, man. It's just tough, man. It's just tough, man. That's why you come here for that IQ, because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you already know it's True Talks, because True Talks. I just came here to debunk a lot of the media narratives, man. You just have to pay attention to what's going on. No one is saying they don't need to make a 1-2 change or, change like they need to get stops more often, all that type of stuff. No one's not saying that. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is that don't let media fool you. Don't let media fool you. This team isn't that bad defensively. They're not. They're actually not. They're not. And I showed you stats that show that they're not. They're third in blocks. Like, how could you be third in blocks but be the worst defensively? Does that make sense? That there's this is efficiency already in that. That don't make sense. If you're the worst defensive team, you should be bad in blocks. And let me just, before I even end again, let me actually just check. Let me do it justice. Let me see who's actually worse in defense and worse in blocks. And let's see who matches. So like Washington Wizards, they're bottom of the East. They allow 122 points per game. They allow 122. So they're the worst in points. And let's go look at their blocks. My fault. Oh, that's opponents a lot. My fault. Let's go look at their them themselves. Let's go look at the team. So they allow the most, right? They allow the most. Now let's go look at their own blocks. They're worst in the league in blocks. So they allow the most points per game and they block the least points per game. So they're worst in both categories. That's right there where matches where you're like, okay, they're terrible defensively. And they have the worst defensive rating. So they're doo-doo on all. They have the second worst defensive rating. They allow the most points per game. And they block the least amount of shots per game. So they're ass in all three categories. That's where you can see, and they're worst in the league. That's where you're like, you know what? That team is ass defensively. They're ass in all categories across the board. They're trying to make it seem like the Nets are that, when that's not true. That's not true. That's why I'm trying to show y'all there's manipulation in what's going on. The stats don't match. How could someone be the worst defensively, like the defensive rating the same, but then be the top 3 in the league in blocks? That don't add up. That don't add up. That don't add up. Why? Because they're top in certain categories. They're bad in certain categories. Why? Because they're so fast paced. They're going to naturally be bad in certain categories. That's what that tells you. High tempo offense. You're going to score more. You're going to allow more. It's just, that's the way it goes. In all teams, even Golden State, no matter what team you look at, if they outscored the most, they're going to naturally allow, not the most, but they're going to allow some. They're going to be mediocre and allow. They're not going to be great and allow it. You're going to allow more than what you normally would allow. That's all that means. Pay attention, y'all. Really don't listen to media, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Anyways, like I said, it's true talks, because true talks, man. You already know what time it is, man. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. Pay attention, man. Media stays capping. They stay capping. They stay capping. And I stay captain. Come on now. I lead y'all. Just come here for that IQ. Come on now. Spread the word. Spread the word. Spread the word. I want to, I'm going to make this message real quick. I appreciate y'all. We want to obviously increase our subscribers. So keep spreading the word. Keep sharing the videos. You know what I'm saying? Keep, telling people to subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. All of that, man. We got to get out here. We got to increase our subscribers and increase what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? This is a movement. This is a true movement. The truest movements of movements. It's a true movement. Come on now. I appreciate y'all. Always. You already know. And I'm out, man.